A very good morning to you. Welcome to the discussion segments of Good Morning Anambra today. How are you? Or should I say Happy New Year to you? Because it does appear we've not really seen this year. Happy New Year. It's good to be here. It's good to have survived 2024. And I pray we'll survive 2025. My name is Ijama Uche. Welcome. This morning, we'll have a topic that we want to look at. It's been around, we've been talking about it, but this time around we want to look at it in a very specialized way, and that is why I have gathered some specialists to look at that. It is reviving and modernizing the Igba Boi system for global competitiveness. Okay? We've been talking about how to revive the Igba Boi system, but this time we want to take it a step further, okay, to be able to compete globally with it. That's exactly what we are cut out for this morning. Welcome again. Joining me this morning to look at this is Professor Chris Carlo. Professor Chris Carlo is Professor of Development Economics and Finance, Department of Economics, UNIZEC. Good morning, Prof.
Thank you, IJ. Thank you.
Okay, you look good. You look good for this year, I tell you. Welcome.
Thank you.
And then the second person is Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesiobi. He's a lecturer, Department of Economics, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University, Ibariam. Good morning, Doc.
The Koyu. The Koyu.
Future University.
The Koyu.
Good morning.
Good to have you. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, IJ.
Welcome, good people. Okay, yes, you heard the intro. Before now, like I tried to, rub my eyes with my producer and the, what do you call it, the press review section, where we started looking at the way we came up, our fathers, even the people before our fathers, okay, how we started this Igba Boi thing. You leave your house to another person's house, you live in, not this time that they say, Nahana Muafia. No, it is Igba Boi, you live in, you take care of everything, you wash cars, you do everything. Okay, if you extend it further back, you go to farm with the man in Igba Boi in Akia. You do every household chores in the house. These are part of the Igba Boi. And for the women, it used to be something like a domestic something which my mother, joined. If you are as one boy getting ready to get married, or even having married newly, they take you to a place where you go to learn how to live in a home. They will teach you how to take care of your husband, how to serve him food, how to serve him bathing water, and a whole lot of things. Okay, those were for my moms. All those are Igba Boi to learn the skill, to learn the act of doing something and doing it very well. It's been our system. All the big men that you hear their names in Anambra State and the Igbo land, they are all products of Igba Boi.
It's true,
and these days we want to wonder, what happened to the Igba Boi system? That's why I want to look at it today. And I'm starting with you, Prof. Can you help us with the background of the Igba Boi in Igbo land?
Oh, thank you, IJ. Thank you, ABS, for this wonderful opportunity again.
Okay.
It is a model. The Igba Boi scheme is a model. And we have traced it to the aftermath of the Civil War. Yes. Aftermath of the Civil War, the Igbos were highly alienated. Their properties was not even given back to them. Okay, to pick the pieces from where the war met them, and every entrepreneurial Igbo man and woman went into business. I quote again, every entrepreneurial Igbo man, Igbo woman went into business. And there is one popular adage in Igbo land that says, Akuruno. Akuruno. It was that Akuruno system that brought in the Igba Boi system. A situation where an entrepreneurial, an enterprising Igbo man will come home and pick his siblings, pick relations for them to learn the trade that he is learning. That was the origin. That was the genesis of the Igba Boi model or Igba Boi system.
Okay, fine. Okay, Sobi, you said that before the Civil War, there was nothing like Igba Boi or whatever.
Just like Prof said, it used to exist before the Civil War, actually. It's just that in agreement with what you were saying, the Civil War now, helped to popularize it.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we had to, the post-war experience was such that the Igbos had to substitute, the state, because the state was non-existent as at that time. So they had to substitute state help for, communal help, collective help. And that was what, deepened the Igba Boi system.
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at the areas the Igba Boi is the areas it occupies. Let me put it that way. Is it only in trade, Prof? Is it only in trade?
No, not only.
Do they Igba Boi in carpentry work?
Yes.
In other artisans?
Every entrepreneurial.
Okay.
Every entrepreneurial endeavor or activity, you see an Igba Boi system there. It's not only in marketing. Even in building construction, you see a man going to learn, a boy going to learn joinman or going to learn mason, how to mold block, how to do welding, how to do this, how to do that. Metal works, inclusive. So it's not only on buying and selling.
Okay, because once you hear Igba Boi, our mind goes on buying and selling. And these days that we don't have young people engaging in artisan works, do we still have Igba Boi? Or do we still have boys that want to learn works,
No. It's fast fading away. And there are reasons, abounding reasons for it.
Let's look at
Even in the academia, that Igba Boi system is there.
Yes.
Assistant lecturer?
Mentor, mentee.
Yes, mentor-mentees.
Yeah.
Okay.
The mentor-mentee relationship is also there in the academia.
Really?
Yes, it's everywhere. It's not only in...
It's also fading away.
Yeah, it's also fading away. And there are so many reasons for that.
Let's look at the reasons now.
Okay. Get quick, rich syndrome.
Okay, let's start from the academia.
Okay.
So why don't you have the mentor, the mentee thing in the school?
That is what we are saying. The get rich quick syndrome is everywhere.
Does it apply in schools too?
Yes, it
Really?
applies.
Really?
Haven't you heard of a school in a scam?
The get quick rich syndrome is everywhere. A situation where, for example, how does our own come in? You see a supervisee. You are supervising masters or you are supervising PhD. Now, my supervisor, I'm not going to call his name here, told me something, said, Chris, in this game or in this exercise, you have to be humble. Now, when he was doing his own, that he will travel from where he was living to Port Harcourt. And when he gets in there, the man will say, okay, go and do this, go and do this, go and do this, go and do this, within the house. Why? To see what he will do.
Within the house?
Yes.
As in chores?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
The academians?
Of course. They will tell you, make sure you wash clothes for him. Make sure you wash clothes.
This is serious.
No, it's true. Make sure you wash clothes. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. Because it's also learning your character. It's also learning your behavior. So it's everywhere. But these days, you can't even tell a master student that you are supervising, come and do this. He won't even come. She won't even come.
Minus the house chores.
Yes.
If Prof, for instance, tells his PhD students, please go and take a tutorial on undergraduate course.
Class.
They look at why.
Why am I doing this? Is that why I'm here?
You know, that kind of thing. But we all pass through that.
That is how it's supposed to be. Yes. I'll give you some courses. Go and teach these courses. And sometimes I will come in to monitor how you are teaching the students, how you are imparting the knowledge in that particular field.
Do they know it's part of the criteria to qualify them for what they're seeking for, whether it's master's or PhD?
They know.
And they don't want to do it.
They know.
And they still don't want to do it.
Because the culture has always been there. They know. But the century we are in now is a blessing, or is even a destruction in disguise.
Aww.
I can tell you, my PhD supervisor now, to even gather data for me, he can't do it.
Why? What do they prefer to pay you?
Simple, and that is what most are doing.
And you accept?
Collect this. They're just interested in collecting certificates.
Yes.
They don't want to learn the ropes, so that you can have a platform that impacts that knowledge and transfers it from one generation to the other.
So the knowledge is not, it's not what they want now, but the certificate. Okay, that's about the academy. Let's get back to the society. Let's get back to where, I don't know, this is a new trend to me. I never knew it's Igba Boi existed.
Of course, it exists.
Honestly.
Although there are still good Igba Boi in quote for the academia.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There are still people that,
There are still.
I'm a product of that mentorship.
There are still. We are all products.
Oh, that's good.
We are all products.
That's good.
Products.
Okay.
And up till now, there are.
And it shows in what you do, because they don't understand. If you don't learn the job, you wouldn't know the job.
No.
You need to bend down and learn it.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the problem we're having with most of these guys in the market that say that, Igba Boi, I want to learn the trade. How much will I pay you? Teach me how to do this business. That's all. Because that's where we are now. Instead of Igba Boi, to know the rudiments of the business that you are doing, so that these are the people that fall out of the way. They will, pay you, learn the business for 6 months, and they will start and they crumble. All the millions he was given to just start the business will just fizzle away, because these guys that spend 7 years will hit you out of business because they know what to do. They know the rudiments of the business. Okay, so let's get back to that and find out. So why is it? Is it still get rich syndrome, get quick rich or whatever? Okay, that's making people not to engage in Igba Boi.
Well, that is one. Two, we have other influences that are also affecting this scheme. One is that in the scheme, the issue of the frosty relationship that have evolved over time. And when I say frosty relationship, both on the part of the master and on the part of the apprentice himself. Because, for instance, you just mentioned that some of the apprentices, as it were, are complaining about maybe the hostile nature of what they find in the hands of their masters. For instance, you will serve for a certain period, and when it gets to the time when you are paid off or you are settled, one story will come up on the other, and you stay longer than expected. Or when they don't give you, when you have just a year to go, when you have a year to go, they will now give you, they will now cook up one story and tell you that you did this, you did that, and for that reason, you lose out on all the years that you have put into that system. Then again, you now talk about what is happening on the part of the apprentices themselves. Nowadays, it's very difficult to get honest people around, honest people. So, unlike before that people, he will say, we're humble, we're well trained as to, how to come into a system and be very honest about it, very prudent in their affairs. No. If you are not careful, those people, like you said, will run you out of business, will steal not just your customers or your business secrets, they will steal even your operating capital and be diverting these monies. The cases are abound. So on both sides, there are issues. Then again, we now have to look at the issue of technology, the changing times.
Yes.
Truly, times are changing. So how then do we find a way of, talking about sustainability? Because nobody looks at that. Now, with the evolution of society, people no longer find it fashionable to send their children, for that scheme. Yes, people no longer find it fashionable to send it. And it's not as if they will send that child to school. Though. So you see, there's this...
I was actually going to ask, is it because they go to school?
No,
they don't want to
no. School can be part of it, fine, but it's not really, because the society is such that we are now celebrating, unexplained wealth. So people will be like, is it what I will do? They like get to where I'm going to and stuff like that. So they don't just want to, pass through that time. And so when you are telling them this one, they will be like, no. So people don't just want to go through that system again because it's no longer looking attractive as they would want it. Then you now talk of sustainability and the part of the masters themselves. Masters, we need to find a way of trying to address the gap between apprenticeship and family-owned businesses. Because if the masters also find a way of integrating their own family, their children, into the business, you know that, yes, that business will outlive them. These are the things we teach in elementary commerce, sole proprietorship and the rest. So the business dies after one generation or two generations. So how then do we talk about making sure that this system is sustainable to the point that it transforms from one generation to the next? On the part of the apprenticeship and the apprentices rather, and on the part of the master. And one thing people fail to understand is this. Why is one of the reasons why the South is among the lowest when it comes to regional poverty in Nigeria is partly because of this entrepreneurial spirit. Yes. So it is something that, yes, it goes beyond what we. In fact, it's a practical demonstration of what we teach in the classroom. That this is it. So the nurturing that takes place there drives entrepreneurial spirit. One, it helps you in empowering that person with skills, life skills that you need to survive in the business. You talk about socialization. Yes, it teaches you how to interact with your customers, your society, the market, and so those key things. How then do we make sure that we transfer it from one generation to another? Because without the apprenticeship scheme, you cannot escape what we call intergenerational poverty. Yes, because you are born into a poor household. The probability that you also become poor is high. Or die poor is high. So, but this scheme is such that it can come and just lift somebody from nowhere and make you something, So in trying to bridge that gap, you see that if care is not taken, like you have rightly observed, that the system is fading away. It's no longer looking as fashionable as it was. So I think it's high time, going forward, we should begin to think around how to make it more sustainable.
That's exactly what we are cut out for.
Let me chip in something.
What do we do to sustain this system?
Before we get into that one, Dr. Nonso was saying something about the society. And that society, like he said, is technologically different. And this era of social media is a problem. It's a problem. A system where a younger who's supposed to be learning a trade is surfing the phone, looking for easy credit. Where to get easy credit.
An urgent 2K.
An urgent, yes. E-boutique. They call it e-boutique.
I know.
They call it e-boutique. So that is a major issue. Now, when he was talking, I heard him saying a good training. Going forward, the family should be the starting point. Let's go back to the families now. Because the culture of resilience, the culture of hard work, the culture of patience is fast fading away.
Content.
And it is from the families. Resilience, hard work, patience, those virtues, those values are fading away. And I don't know how we're going to do it. Government can come up with policies that will make families to reorientate the issues of this.
Is it just about the government? What kind of policy will governments make that will tell me how to train my child?
The families themselves.
Okay.
It must start from the parents.
And the organization they're listening to, especially the church.
Yes.
Okay, because everybody is a Christian. They go to church.
Agents of socialization.
And they listen to their pastors and their reverends.
Come in now.
Because we really need that orientation.
Yes.
We really need it.
Yes.
Okay, otherwise it's like we are even fading away. It's not just the Igba Boi system. Everything about us is just becoming elusive. I'm telling you, becoming very elusive. Let's look at what we must do to sustain this. We have looked at the role of the boy and the role of the Oga. Okay, I think we have not really, fashioned that of the Oga very well. What is making this? What is discouraging these boys from going to Igba Boi again? You understand? Because it's not when you say social media, is there any way we can use the social media to modernize? Because that's the topic, to modernize the concept of Igba Boi. Otherwise, what is the role of the two people involved? The boy, this is the mentor and the mentee when it comes to trading and business. Because what you hear is people spending 5, 6, 7 years with a man, and the man at the end of the day will say, you have stolen my money, you have done this, you have done this, just to ensure that the guy was not properly settled. So how do we look at that one? Let me come to you, Naso.
Going forward, like I mentioned earlier, it's on both sides.
Yes.
That's on the part of the master. Some of them find, mischievous means of evading this settlement, especially when it is approaching. So, and some of them, for right or wrong reasons, will tell you it is as a result of what these guys have done to them. So now, how then do we institutionalize this thing? I want to bring our attention to the fact that Nigeria is a highly informal economy, and majority of all this apprenticeship and this thing still, sadly operates at that informal level. So, at the informal level, the oversight at that level is a problem. I heard you in your press review when you were discussing about bringing in activities in the shadow economy into our GDP. These are things that we know operate, but because we cannot place our hands on them properly. So now we need to start placing our hands on these activities properly. By, for instance, the government now, the institutionalization of this process such that maybe it can come in, maybe not necessarily, when we talk of institutions, it doesn't necessarily mean government. In these markets, you have organizations. What do you call them? Omata and Co. Yes, unions. Yeah, that's the proper term, unions. You have these unions, no matter how informal they are, they need to be educated on their role in this, such that every member in that union, you operate a business in that environment. If you are bringing anybody, the organization should know. There should be some form of registration that you are bringing this person, and at that level, whatever agreement you had with your apprentice should be made known to that body, so that you are both the master and the apprentice are aware that yes, there is a third party who serves as let's say an aggregator now in case of any fallout. So everybody knows that yes, they are in check. So that you are the organ doesn't mean that you have the life and death of that person is in your hands. No. So then from institutionalizing them, then from these bodies, not just the government, other stakeholders, civil society organizations and co can come in and be giving these people regular training.
Chambers of commerce.
Yes, they're giving these people regular trainings that look, this is the way you used to do business before. It's not the way you used to do now.
Things have changed.
Yes, things have changed. That we now want you to be looking at this thing. That's the way you used to keep record before is not like that. Look at marketing has gone beyond standing by the road and be dragging customers. People now do marketing online, like what he was trying to say. So you get to teach them how things are changing so that they evolve with these things. To know that yes, you must not interact with customers physically. For instance, you can be doing online transactions, a Mayway bill and stuff like that. These are the trainings that these people need to get, so that by the time they finish that scheme and they are leaving, they have learned some other useful, normally the apprenticeship system is not just a venture capital system. It is a vocational training program. So that vocation, that other skills, that it must not be a classroom skill, but it's something that they need to share with these people.
And they internalize.
Yes.
Yes. So then how then do they organize themselves to form something like cooperatives among themselves so that they can access capital? If the guy is finding it difficult because of the macroeconomic shock now, most businesses are barely struggling to survive in terms of what is happening with our exchange rate, inflation, unemployment, and so on and so forth. So you see that the economy is shaking. So how then do they galvanize themselves into maybe cooperatives that they can now use to access capital? Because when they access this capital now, they now talk of business expansion beyond not just buying and selling.
And
manufacturing.
Yes, and settling their boys, so it wouldn't be a problem to them.
Won't be a problem to them. So these are ways that when we modernize this thing, integrating this system to the financial, when we talk of financial inclusion, these are the steps you need to take.
Okay, let's hold it there. We are still going to look at other steps to take to ensure that this system is modernized in a way that it will get into global competitiveness. That's exactly what we are discussing this morning. We'll take a break here to bring in some people that we'll talk to on the street. When we come back, we are still going to look at this because I know what is causing problem with this this system is the financial settlement. That's why it's looking like this thing is not this thing is not working anymore. So we're still going to look at that when we come back from this break, please.
All I have to say in this aspect is that people should stop sending their children to the masters. Serving someone like 5 years or more, then at the end of everything, the person starts telling story. It's better they key in school and learning skills. In the sense that they will be trained social time. At the end of everything, the person will go and establish himself instead of signing someone without license, without deed of partnership. At the end of everything, you see, this person may go home empty-handed. But if someone goes to school or goes through a training ground, I think that would be much better.
In the olden days, is it only days before, maybe in the early 70s and 80s, these are the landmarks that Anambra, especially the southeasterners, that's how we recruit people. We also build up our youth so that we put them into skills that they can use to feed their family and also, be people in society. But currently, it is fast fading away. But even for instance, those people, the vulcanizers are on the streets, those electricians, or all that. If you go and meet them, you see that they don't have even youths that are learning from them. So we want to go back. How I wish governments or even non-governmental organizations can also take up these roles and maybe to all these guys and all these our business enterprise like in Jamaica, Enugu, Lagos. We should train up our youths. It's not only about education. Education is good, quite all right, but we need to learn skills that can also help us. Even when you're working or when you're even doing your business, there is something that you know how to do. Electrical work. You can do plumbing job. All these POP people that come from Ghana and Togo that they do. These are works that if our children can learn it. Even trading, ordinary trading, owning a shop and being a multinational businessman, like all these multinational businessmen on Nnewi and on Onitsha. They started from somewhere. They learn the trade. You can't just jump into the trade and you see yourself. Don't even know how to check your debit and credit and how to pick those goods that you know that will be sellable. You go and now buy goods that will not sell. Then at the end of the day, that business money will now fizzle out. So I think if there's a way the government can also help educate or start talking about it, so that all these are businessmen, our children, the youth can also know that it's not only about education. They should learn a skill that is workable, a skill that can help them to feed their family or even be something like
going to school. Even though you not go to primary school, there are some levels of teaching in your house. Maybe your mother or your father can teach you a way that you will not be looking like you don't have.
The way we can avoid is that can help you to that. There's problem in skill. Skill is very important. No matter education, education is the best legacy in life. But what the country is going on nowadays, you're in school to get job there. The skill help a lot. When you travel outside country, you can still use your skill. I'm a graduate of Harvard University of Ife. It's a service that brought me to Igbo land. Through the Igbo land, and I have a skill. I'm working, I'm still doing my skill. I'm a living from. That's the only way we can help our youth nowadays. You tell them, some of you are looking for fast money nowadays. They will enter flood. That's why I see insecurity nowadays. Just we need to assist them by learning this skill.
Okay, good to have you back. It is still Good Morning Anambra, and we're still looking at reviving and modernizing the Igba Boi system for global competitiveness. That's what we are looking at this morning. I still have Professor Chris Carlo and Dr. Chukwunoso Ekesobi in the house. Gentlemen, you're still welcome to this program.
Thank you.
Yeah, before we left to this, of course, we heard it was what they were saying was exactly what we have been saying here. Yes. So before we left, we were looking at how to revive and modernize, okay, because it's like we have established that the Igba Boi system is almost, you know, getting out of the system. I had wanted to give me one or two examples of people that made this Igba Boi in Anambra State in particular. Can you mention?
My dad is a product of Igba Boi.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
And he didn't do pretty badly for his time. At least he had houses and other things. So yeah. Good. So, but there are things my dad did in his 30s that yes, because
okay. And do you have anybody Wapu Boy? Is your dad Wapu Boy?
No, it didn't. The Igba Boi system is not common to other states.
Okay, you're from Anambra?
Yeah, I'm from Anambra State, so it's more common here. And that is why Anambra State seems to be more progressive than any other part of Igbo land.
It is.
Yes.
But it does appear that the people while Boy is trying to take over the business from us. Because now these days, Anambra there Boy, you go to get boys. You go to a boy to get boys. Yes. And when you go to the market now, they are kings. They are the laws there. They are the chairman of lines. They are the chairman of before you know it. This is no, we're talking about Igba Boi in Igbo land. Not because you mentioned that it's Anambra.
Remember I told you that we need to bridge the gap between the apprenticeship and the family-owned business.
Yes.
So find a way of that your father owned a business. Many of them do not come back to what is going on.
Yeah, you own a business. You send your children abroad to school and they don't come back after.
Yes.
So your boys take over your business.
So that's
it's no longer a family business.
That's part of the training.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
All right, thank you.
Everywhere.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think we need to continue talking on this because there's so much to talk about.
Yes, very,
okay. Thank you very much, Professor Chris Carlo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Professor
you.
of Development, Economics and Finance, Department of Economics, UNICEF. Thank you very much.
The best university in the world.
I agree with this, my school.
The best model now. The best model. We're in the best model now.
I know it is.
Our great Vice Chancellor.
Thank you also. Dr. Chukwunoso Ekesobi, lecturer, Department of Economics, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu. I wasn't even thinking you're a product of UNIZIG.
No. But he has everything is from UNIZIG.
We work hard.
All right, thank you. UNIZIG is a modern school. It has given birth to so many other schools. Yes. Thank you very much for coming, gentlemen. Thank you. And thank you very much, Ekesobi. We got your message.
Thank you.
Your Christmas pledges for us. Thank you. My name is Sijama. God keeping us. We'll continue tomorrow. But just before we go, let me tell you that sports is the next in line. So do stand by now.
Thank you.
Thank you.